Check the scene. Once you recognize an emergency exists, take the time to look around for such things as glass, hostile bystanders, oncoming cars. Listen for things such as alarms or escaping gas, and smell for things such as gas or smoke. Be sure to always use gloves and a barrier device when dealing with a first aid situation. If it is safe to do so, check the person. Ask the person, "Are you okay?" Tap the person on the shoulder. If there is no response, call emergency medical services or send a bystander to do so. Remember to tell the bystander to grab an AED if one is available. Check the airway. Tilt the head back and lift the chin. This action moves the tongue away from the back of the throat and lets the air reach the lungs. Check for breathing. Look at the unconscious person's chest. Look for rise and fall. You must also listen and feel for normal breathing. Do not take more than 10 seconds. Check circulation by looking for deadly bleeding and signs of shock. Quickly look at the person from head to toe. You may need to do a hands-on check to assess whether first aid is required. Do not perform a hands-on check unless you can be sure that the airway will not be compromised. This check is mainly for unconscious people who cannot tell you what is wrong. Check the head and neck. Look and feel for any abnormalities such as bumps, soft spots, or bleeding. Do not push on soft spots. They may be fractures of the skull. Check the shoulders by looking and feeling for any bumps or bone deformities. Check the chest by feeling the ribs for deformity. Gently press on the abdomen to see if it is hard. The abdomen should feel soft to the touch. If the abdomen is painful or hard to the touch, you may have to remove clothing and check for bruising. Check the hips. Put your hands on both sides of the pelvis and push down on the hips and then in on the sides. The bones should move together. Do not push or pull if the person shows any signs of discomfort. Check the legs by feeling for any deformity in the bones or any swelling. Check the arms by feeling for any deformity in the bones or any swelling. After your secondary survey, it is important to keep the person comfortable and monitor the ABCs continually until the EMS person arrives. Once you've checked your ABCs and completed your secondary survey, you should move an unconscious person to the recovery position. Move only if the airway is open, if the person is breathing, if there's no deadly bleeding, and you don't suspect a neck or back injury. The modified Haynes recovery position is to be used on an unconscious person who has a suspected spinal injury and must be left alone or lose vomit. The steps to complete the Haynes roll is the opposite of the recovery position, with the person facing away from you at the end of the roll.